Chris, you have dealt with the world of OT, operational technology. What do you believe people are just not seeing or getting right?
People tend to treat these systems and devices the same way they would treat IT. And the challenge there is that these devices can't be treated the same way because you can't protect them the same way. You can't put antivirus on them typically. They're not going to interact the same way. They use different communications protocols. And a lot of times they get overlooked because they don't necessarily fall under the purview of IT. And half the time you'll have certain pieces of this that fall under something like facilities. So a lot of times it ends up in other areas and it gets overlooked.
You're not just dealing with the cyber department, period.
Right.
You are dealing with the physical security department. You're dealing with facilities as well. Are these physical devices that are generating some digital information giving you what you need?
A lot of times they're giving the bad guys what they need. They never get tested. They never get secured when they're initially set up.
So when you're talking with a potential customer about this stuff and they're sort of a little wide-eyed about like, oh geez, I'm running into a problem that seems more than I can handle right now. What is that process?
The first thing is gaining some visibility. If you can gain the visibility and establish a baseline of what's normal, then you can start to figure out when things are not normal.
What are classic OT issues you're seeing?
Well, OT typically, regardless of whether it's a building control or industrial manufacturing or critical infrastructure, they're entirely focused on uptime. Because of that, one of the bigger problems is around vulnerability and patch management. So the patch cycles tend to be much longer, and so you have to try to fit whatever they're doing in physical maintenance of equipment into the same space as updates and patches for vulnerabilities.
How do you put them sort of at ease, like this is a solvable problem?
It is a solvable problem. And a lot of times they can fall back on something that the IT department is typically already doing. So if they've got a cadence for vulnerability management or patch management, or they've got some visibility tools, it may not be perfect, but if they can work together, they can come up with modified versions of things and sometimes use the same tools. And then just ask for help. That's the biggest thing.
All right, so for our viewers and listeners who are looking right now, if they want some help, what's the first question they should ask?
How can you help us understand kind of the totality of the problem that we have? And really it comes down to how much do you know about your OT, your connected infrastructure? Just understanding where it is and the scope of it is a lot of times the biggest challenge.
Well, then you can do that. Go to their website, directdefense.com. It's right there.